What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ultimate RC. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode here today. We've got something really special that we're going to be going and doing. Today, I have with me a custom build, completely custom. Everything was pieced together from parts that I bought here and there to make this work. And I'll tell you a little bit about how it started. So back in August of this year, there was a crawling competition, the first one that was from this particular group. So it was through Crawler Canyon, I believe, or Canyon Crawlers. I'll put it up on the screen right here so you can see it. And they were in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at Road America. And while they were there, they had, of course, their trailer and booths exhibiting their products. And I'm a believer that when you go to one of these things, you should go and try to spend some money with some of the vendors that are there, because the vendors actually pay to be part of these shows. As somebody who's organized shows like this for the line of work I'm in the DJ production world, I know that vendors pay a good amount of money to be in these shows because they essentially fund the whole show, okay? The ticket prices are not really taking care of the majority of the funding. It's the vendors and the sponsors that pay for the stuff. So anyway, I went and I decided to buy a completely custom setup for a crawler that I was going to build. So I bought all these initial parts back in August, and I spent a good money on just these parts. Let's just put it this way, it's more than most RTRs that I spent on just axles and a chassis. No wheels and tires, no electronics, no body. So now, as I'm tinkering around with my other crawlers throughout the rest of the summer and the fall, I start to put this thing together. I kind of get what I can assembled. I get the transmission mounted to the skid. I get the drive shafts, which were the Dlux drive shafts that you had to cut to length, cut them, get that all set up, get the axles put together. So essentially, I've got what amounts to a slider, and it sat there for a little bit. Oh, and then the other thing I didn't have yet was shocks, which I ended up buying the shocks that they suggested at the show and put them on there, but I ended up getting them direct through Dlux Fab. So I'll put those up here too. But anyway, when I was putting this together, I started to think, what colors, what theme do I want to do for this? And I didn't really have a theme, but I started to get a color, and it was going to be purple, magenta-ish in that part of the color spectrum. And it turned out beautifully. This was also my first time painting with liquid mask and really doing any kind of paint job that was multicolors. Before, I would just buy pre-cut bodies that have the stenciling all done out on them. So like, for example, there's Traxxas bodies that you can buy where they've got the graphics kind of overlaid into the paint, where it's got different shades of black and white, and all you have to do is just spray one color over it and it looks completely done. It actually looks pretty good. But this time I bought a clear cliffhanger body, and I painted on the liquid mask, went on the outside of the body and got a ruler and started drawing lines for how I wanted things to go, tracing out the contours in the body for the different things I wanted to emphasize with it. And then went on the inside, took my X-Acto knife and cut freehand, okay? Freehand with the X-Acto along the lines that you could see through the body with the liquid mask. And then I painted. Now, did it come out perfect? No, okay? Rarely does your first time doing anything like this come out perfect. That being said, it came out pretty damn good, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. There it is, guys. What am I calling this? Well, for now, it's an LT Customs chassis with a cliffhanger body, and like I said, just a bunch of parts that we put together from different manufacturers to just make this baby work. But it turned out beautifully. Look at that. All right, we're gonna pop off the top and go look underneath real quick.
And there we go. There is the heart and soul of the creature. Once again, perfect pass, my favorite servo, monster 56 kilogram. We have the Furitek, I believe this is, yep, the dynamic 2000 kV 380 can size motor. We have the Python X ESC, Flysky Receiver, and then these on the back, these are just magnetic mounts to try to help hold the body on the back. Otherwise, the body is mainly held on with this post on the front. So I'm gonna probably readjust how these magnets connect to the body. I just tried to get this thrown together to get out here quick because we only have about an hour's time left worth of sunshine before the sun goes down. A couple other things real quick. So once again, favorite wheels, Trio wheels, Dlux shocks here. We have, this is just an Amazon special front and rear bumper I found. I can throw a link to it if you like it. We have the Vanquish F10 portal axles, and this was from the Trucks of Freedom. I've got the aluminum portal knuckles in the front. Anything else of note to do here? For our battery mounting, we're just using the interlocking, this is like a special interlocking thing that 3M makes. It's basically little mushroom caps that are woven in here like this, and then what you stick to the battery is this same material, and the caps interlock with each other, holding it together. I like it better than Velcro because stuff just gets caught up in Velcro, and then the soft side of Velcro usually gets nasty after time. This stuff stays pretty good, and it's easy to clean if you need to. So, all right, let's get a battery and get going. For our batteries, we're using these Tattoo 850 milliamp hour batteries with an XT30 connector. Real small, real lightweight. There's a lot of reasons why you want to keep things tiny on a competition rig like this, and we're going to talk about that while we get out on the trail and run this thing. If you look through the front window here, you can see how I put magnets on the back panel just to hide the mounting. Wanted to keep the body looking as clean as possible, but needed something that was more secure than magnetic, so that's why we do have that front post, because that's going to hold it on. But then the magnets are just going to kind of keep the rear part of this body in check so that it kind of reduces the movement and kind of brings it back to where we want it to sit. And like I said, I'm going to adjust them a little better, probably play with that, but want to just get out here quick. We got the battery in this thing, let's go. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of driving footage with this, but I'm not going to trail like this too much because we want to save that battery for the thing we're out here to do, which is crawl. Now, a couple things about what else is in the truck. We've got Proline tires on this thing. Inside the tires, we have Upgrade RC dual stage foams. I originally bought the Upgrade RC foams to put in my CJ7 Jeep, and they didn't fit in those wheels. They were too wide, and the CJ7 tires were not fitting over them and would not sit in the beadlocks. So I ended up having to get some different inserts for those. And rather than return these, I saw that I had some other tires that they would fit in. I realized that I didn't have any nicer inserts for this truck yet, so I decided to put them in here. You may notice right away that the front wheel is turning a lot faster than the rear wheel. This thing, this Dlux Fab transmission, has about 30% overdrive built into it. So it's putting 30% faster output to the front wheels than the rear wheels, which for crawling and climbing, that's a sweet spot. All right, we're gonna pick this thing up. And per usual, we are back out here at lovely Fun Furitek here, standing over the waterfall, which is dried up right now, which is great for us. We're gonna make our first descent into the park and see how this does. You can really see here, if I back up a little bit and you watch carefully, watch the front of the body and how that overdrive sucks down the suspension. I'm probably gonna be a little more hawkish about this thing, or a little more helicopter-y, because I really don't wanna tumble and mess up that body, because it just turned out really pretty. I'll show you some more of the imperfections later on, but I wanted to get out here and get crawling while we still had some sunlight. I wanted to get out here and get crawling while we still had some sunlight left. All right, so this is our first obstacle where we want to make sure we don't flip it over. And looking good, looking composed. I think we're going to be okay. You know what? We're going to go make it go this way. This thing here, its breakover, well, not the breakover, but its tipping point, front to rear, is
in the 80 degrees. It can just about stand straight up before it wants to start tipping over backwards on the rear wheels. All right, beautiful descent. We're gonna come on down here. And again, nice and easy. I did weigh this. It has a pretty decent weight distribution. I believe it's pretty close to being 60-40. I wanna say it's like 58-42, maybe 59-41. So it's really close to that perfect 60-40 we like to see front to back. So it should be very capable on these. Its side hilling capability also is very, very good because it has, number one, the 2-stage foams. It's got a nice track width for stability, and all the weight in this thing is down in the axles. It is very lightweight overall, probably one of my most lightweight rigs. There you can see how far up we're standing, and we're gonna see if we can't get up this. I don't think we can because we really don't have much to grab onto from the rear wheels, but we were past the skid. It's got quite an angle on that center skid to help with things like this. But all right, let's try if we move over just a little bit. You can see how fast that perfect pass servo goes and works to try to help with things like this. Okay. I think if we get over just a little more, we'll just work it over a little more. Okay. And now let's see if we can't get that rear wheel up. Oh, it wants to go. It wants to go. Okay, got that side up. Now, if I can pull up the other side and then use that front weight to bring it up, that was fantastic. The only other crawler I've come out here and done that with is the Rhino U1, which has got a crazy breakover. That's the cheater rig. And the fact that that just pulled that off is pretty impressive. But this thing also has amazing clearance underneath it. I mean, it has a huge, crazy, large breakover. Look how nice and controlled that was. So in a video last night I was shooting with the Optic and the Fordyce, because they both have lighting kits, I decided to go out for a night crawl, and I'll post up about that. But I was talking about how the perfect crawling rig is one that's lightweight, 60% rear in the front, 40%, or 60% weight in the front, 40% in the rear. Pretty evenly balanced side to side. Keeps the center of gravity low, okay? So lightweight, 60-40, low center of gravity, even from side to side. And this thing checks all of those boxes, if not perfectly, pretty damn close. All right, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna take the hard line up right away. Not even gonna bother with the easy lines with this thing, because it should just go right up and almost anything you throw at it. Okay. Fighting for a little traction there. There we go. Just had to get that one of the wheels hooked up on that ledge, which we did by changing our angle a little bit. And up she goes, upsy daisy, no issues there. Of course, it should be nothing for this, but we'll take a climb up this rock. Yep, doesn't even touch the center portion of the car at all. All right, she's looking really good. We're gonna go ahead and go down here. This is one of our tougher obstacles we've had. Nothing has really been able to get, we're just going down now, but what we're about to go up, nothing has really gone up it easily. Everything has struggled, including the Rhino, but we were trying to take a hard line with the Rhino. So the other thing about my Rhino is that it is not 60-40 weight distribution. I haven't weighed it to see exactly what it is, and I will do that here, but I can tell you, because it has brass portals on both the front and rear axles, since that's the way it's four-wheel steer, so both axles are front axles, but
because it's brass portals on all 4 corners, it's gonna have a harder time getting that 60-40 weight distribution where it gets that weight up front. All right, we're gonna readjust a little bit here, kind of go this way, there we go. And look, it just pulls it right up once again. So this will be interesting. Can we get this? If I get our wheel angle just right. Okay, again, I'm gonna be very, very cautious with this because I really don't want to harm that body and have a rollover. So if I seem a little, I know I could push it harder, but if I seem a little cautious, that's why. I just really don't want to roll over on that thing because it just looks so darn pretty. Okay, so we're gonna let the chassis settle a little bit. We're gonna bring it back up this way. There we go, got that grabbing on top. This is very much a more difficult line to take than the line that we've gotten to work otherwise. However, this is a competition rig. We do have to challenge it. So let's see what we can do here. If we can find some grip. It doesn't quite want to find it. We'll see if we can just adjust our, do a little twist of our servo. Okay, so we're getting to a point where I would fear a rollover. Yep, that's gonna roll over. Okay, now where we're at here, this is a challenging spot because the rock comes out in a V right here, and that's gonna hang up our rear axle, our rear pumpkin, if we're not careful. So we're gonna see if we can't find a way to get this over. And you know what, I did not bring my gloves, and my throttle finger is getting cold, feeling it here. Okay, we're gonna adjust a little bit. So we're gonna move this here. We're gonna skip that rock. We're gonna go right for this steeper rock right here. Should be able to pull right up this, no problem. And it should give us enough that we can get up there. Yep, nope. And then this, okay, so this is the problem. That rear driver's side wheel, because it's still hanging off the ledge at that point, it pushes the front end to the left, to the driver's side, because it has nothing to grip on. So now if we straighten out and try to see if we can't find some grip here in this V, okay, it's just the right length of wheelbase where these rear wheels are trying to get up the ledge while the front wheels are also trying to get up the ledge. So let's see if we can find somewhere to find some grip that we can use to hook. Okay. Come on, just hook. Let's hook tires. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe these tires, because these are more of a scale tire, I want to say, maybe these tires just aren't as grabby as some of the other ones, like the megalithics. All right, so we are, like I said, every rig I've tried this line on has struggled. So let's try this. Okay, well, because we don't have a lot of light left in the day, we're gonna take the line that we know works. So we're gonna go this way. Okay, I would love to sit out here and really try that a million different ways to get it to go, but we're gonna run out of sunlight soon here. So there we go. All right, definitely getting the lower side of that body dragging a little bit, but oops, sorry, and I'm dropping out of frame. But we were able to get up that ledge right there and up, no problem for this thing. Look at that. Okay, here we are at our next obstacle, this familiar wall, cliff face, if you want to call it that. We're gonna take it up. We're gonna go right up the middle here. Ooh, okay. Struggling in the loose stuff already. Wheelbase is a little longer on this one, so most crawlers are, I forget what it is. It's like 292 millimeters, I think, or 12.3 inches, I want to say. is the standard wheelbase for most 10 scale crawlers. This thing is 13 1/8. So it's a longer wheelbase than what you're used to seeing. And as a result, really it's not an issue, but the hardest part about it is finding bodies that would fit. That's one of the reasons why I went with the half cab, was because it wouldn't be an issue. All right, I'm gonna get closer up on this because, like I said, I don't want to roll this baby over if I can help it, especially down this hill. And this thing right here, this is a rollover risk. Now, okay, there's where we want that front wheels on that rock. And nice and easy. We're still looking good. Let's talk what we did for weights. So you'll notice that there's no portal weights on any of the four corners. There's the aluminum portal knuckles on the front from Vanquish, and then it's just the plastic in the rear. Ooh, oh man, that's got me nervous. Okay, let's try to bring this over and see what happens. The weight is actually in the wheels on this thing. So like good old Trail, they have their brass rings that we put in the front wheels, and then we've got their metal wheels that they put, or excuse me, their metal clamp rings that we put in the rear. Okay, can we keep it? Can we keep it? Oh, yep. Had a feeling that was gonna happen. All this loose stuff really just messes with this approach. I'll try this one more time because it was close. I feel like it can get it. We just have to get just the right line and keep those rear wheels over as far as possible, which is no easy task considering how tight this is. Up. Okay, come on. Oh, you're gonna. So I'm gonna take a W. We're gonna take a L on that one. Let's see what we can get on that cliff face there, if we can get this up that, because this is another tough one that I've had a lot of struggle with other rigs. However, this one might have an advantage because it has that longer wheelbase. We're gonna find out. However, we're gonna get our approach a little different. We're gonna come from this way and get our rear end pointed out back that way, only because it's gonna wanna slide that way anyway. There we go. All right, get up past that cliff face. Get our wheel to hook up there. Okay. So what is holding us up here? Okay, so our front driver wheel is practically hanging in the air. Our passenger wheel doesn't have a whole lot of traction either. It's this rear driver wheel that's got all the traction on it, but that's kind of, it wants to grab, it just doesn't have quite enough to get there. I think it's just the geometry of this obstacle kind of holding it up. I'm gonna try, now that those front wheels up, I'm gonna see if I can work it over a little more. There we go. And now that I've got this wheel that can grab onto that little lip, let's see if that'll be enough to pull it up. I'm gonna have my leg right here just ready to catch it if it tips over backwards. Okay. I also think that this sticking out this way is preventing it from wanting to go up too. So it's in this pocket. it just doesn't have enough grip to get up it. So, all right, we're gonna back it back down. Let's try this here. I'm not holding my breath because that gap between those two rocks tends to hang up axles. But again, we've got a longer wheelbase here. We've got some tricks up our sleeve with this thing. So, nope, I'm seeing it hang up on that again. So look, and then it just pushes it over. Unless I can get it to, wow, it really wants to push it over. Oh, all right, got it up there. Nope, just pushes it back down and gets it hung up again. So that's not gonna go either. So tough one. I have not got it yet with any rig. We're gonna go to one of our favorite obstacles here, one that I've been able to get with pretty much every rig. It looks like it's set up a little easier because we took some rocks out to make it harder. Some rocks right there on transitioning up to that ledge. But right now it's set up on the way that's easier, so this thing should have no problem getting up it. Heck, it's not even getting hung up on all the rocks below like a lot of other rigs do. We're gonna get some side hilling going on. Ride that wall. Okay. There you go, there you go. Now with the longer wheelbase, it'd be interesting to see what happens here, because it's gonna wanna push it back down because of that ledge. However, no problem. We caught that one little lip that we need to get up the edge of the cliff, and right up we go. There we go. And if it has any trouble at all getting up this next part, I'll be very surprised. There we are, okay. Now we just need to turn. I need to see, make sure I'm not getting caught underneath. Oh yeah, we're still good here. The nubs on those tires just trying to fight to grab that ledge. There we go, okay, up a little further. All right, so this is where that longer wheelbase might hurt us a little bit, so we gotta be very calculated how we get out of this. There we go, because what's happening is, yep, it was gonna push that passenger wheel under that other rock. There we go. Beautiful. Was able to side hill right up that. No issue. We'll just go ahead and turn wherever the hell we want here, because okay, shouldn't do that where we're sinking one side into a canyon while the other is going up on a ledge. Let's at least keep things within reason now, right? There we go. Okay, barely dragged on the belly going up that ledge. Looked beautiful doing it. All right, we'll bring her back down here. We'll side hill across the edge of the cliff here, right here. This is a fun spot because you just have to go through real tight to make it around this plant. Try to do it, yep, just touch that branch a little bit with the body, nothing big. There we go, easy, easy. Okay, this is another one that's a lot of fun. It's fun, you know what? It's fun because we know it's possible and we've done it with our other rigs. So here we go, just sliding our way down. Okay, now we're gonna go back up it. All right, here we go, here we go. So once again, use that little ramp on that side. Get our front wheels up. Already, the front passenger or front driver wheel is already up on the next ledge to pull this baby up. We're gonna twist to help pull those rear wheels up. Oh, okay, so here's where maybe that longer wheelbase might hurt us a little bit, because we've gotten other things up it that way that before, but they had a shorter wheelbase, which means they pull the rear wheels up faster. Okay. Let's see what we can do here now that we've got. All right, let's go back this way. I do love how slow you can go with these Furitek systems. The fact that you can just very deliberately move the vehicle right where you need it. Is very, very, very advantageous. You know what, we're gonna come back down. I'm gonna try our approach one more time. I'm gonna kind of go more this way. And we're gonna go right up into this V here. There we are. Let's see what happens when we do this. Oh, it's so close. There we go. Oh, wow, how is this thing struggling this much with this? This is unexpected, because this is usually one of those, you just get it up this far and it goes right up. So this might be where the longer wheelbase, once again, I said it a moment ago, might be where the longer wheelbase has a slight disadvantage. However, as I'm saying that, we made it up. We're gonna come back down. We're gonna do that one more time, try that line again, and see if I don't do it a little more easily now that I know what to look for this time. Again, all this loose stuff on top certainly doesn't help, because it just means our tires are fighting for grip. So there we are. We're gonna bring this over this way so we don't roll backwards. Hopefully don't roll backwards. But again, look how far that can stand up without tipping backwards. That is awesome. Now we're in the pocket here, and there we are. We've made it up, and that's there she is. That's all she wrote, folks. Okay, we're gonna try one more thing. We're gonna see if we can't get up this other face of that cliff to the right, like we tried originally. You know, might have just been a thing where I just need to get, again, the correct approach, that correct line. I have a feeling it's gonna stick again, but let's find out. So we're gonna stay a little bit further this way, okay, because we want to get that tire hooked on top. Now we're gonna have it pull us this way. I don't want to go too far. I mean, the fact that it's just hanging onto the cliff like that, I think is pretty impressive. But it looks like that is where it's gonna not quite find the right grip and line to make its way up. Where here, we're not, there we go. Oh, this is close to tipping. Let's see what we can do, if we can very slowly save this. All right. Thank you for not rolling. All right. We are being so careful not to ruin that body. And you know what? It's probably going to happen eventually. No worries. Let's head on right next door to our next obstacle that we know and love. We've got a few things on this one that are all right. So the overdrive and the lightness of this rig make it bounce a little bit as it drives. All right, what time do we have here? We've got about 10 more minutes before the sun sets, so just enough time to get this. And looks like somebody has made a little rock totem monument here. You know what? They took one of these rocks that we use in there to make that obstacle work. So I guess we're gonna try to climb it without that for now. We'll challenge ourselves here. But if we don't make it, we will have to dismantle this rock thing to make this work. All right, let's use our servo. So we're getting hung up a little bit there. Okay. There we go, find the grip. I love the fact that that thing can just stand so tall and not tip. So here's where we might get caught on the body, might get caught on the chassis. Yep, and then that rear wheel's getting caught into that rock. It's flipping it over. Oh, it's pulling. Oh, the body is hanging us up on that side. So let's see if I can make it go this way a little bit more to, all right. The problem we have running into is we've got a pit right there that the rear wheel is falling into. So sorry, rock totem. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, good. Oh, so we're definitely scratching the Lexan on this one, it looks like, because the body's kind of in there. If we can get, oop. Okay. I don't quite like our setup for that. Whoa. All right. It just picked up the whole truck and turned the rear end that way. So what we did before on this is I got it up this way first, and then I got this wheel all the way up here. Okay. We're still, oh, we got the rear axle over the ledge. Come on. Just got to find the right angle for the tires to get the grip and get up that. And you know what? That was the thing. We had, oh no, look at that. All right, let's try it one more time. Come on. Find the grip. Pull it up. There we go. Now. Let's see if that's enough to push it up. Okay. There we go. All right, now if we can just keep that and get it over here, transfer the traction over on that side. Excellent. And there it is. Well, with enough trail grooming, we made it happen. Still a difficult obstacle though. Still a very difficult obstacle. So the fact that we did make it up that with the help of some of those rocks, which were there before when we were making this obstacle with other rigs, this thing did it. And did it pretty well. I say did it more easily than a lot of other setups I have. All right, we're gonna just ride the cliff here. And we're gonna go up this clip face here. So we'll start by trying the more steeply angled one. We'll get the front wheels up, and I'm going to use that one lip there to step up. Okay, and boom, up she goes. Let's make it more challenging and try not to use that little stepper rock right there. And we're even going to make it challenging by having to descend from right here. There we go. All right, we managed to get it to turn around in there without falling around. That's really good. Now, let's see. I doubt it's going to get up this just because there's so much loose stuff on top. And we're going to have to... There we go. Yep, that's what I thought. If it made it up that, though, it should make it up this without any issues. There it is. So it goes up that cliff face. All right. Yeah, I thought we were going to need more battery here because I thought those 850 milliamp hour batteries didn't last that long, but we've been getting some decent runtime. Okay, I've got one more thing I want to try before we have to leave because the park closes at sunset. So we're going to go do that quick here. This was a very difficult obstacle. I was able to get it with the VRD carbon, and this should have good luck with it because it has the same stance as the carbon, the same width, same track width. It does have shorter tires. The carbons are 4.9, even though they say 4.75 on the wheel. These are a true 4.75. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up this, we're gonna side hill across this and get to that. So let's give it a shot. Hook that front tire up on that lip. There we go. Now we have to kind of turn hard into the hill, into that cliff face to keep our rear wheels somewhat in check to have a chance here. All right, nice and easy. I am going to be right here to catch this if it falls. Up there, it would have tipped. Okay. All right, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. So I just didn't quite get my tires in the right spot, but let's see if we can make the rest of this here a little. Please settle that way. Thank you. Okay, it is going. We're going to go very slowly. Start straightening out our front end, but don't lose the rear. Okay, I have a feeling if I had more time and could make more effort, that could make it. So now I have to stand right on the edge of this drop off here because we're going to try to go right up this if we can. So we're going to come out wide, bring it around. There we go. Okay. All right. It's holding on. It's holding on. It's making its way up. I did not touch it there. I know I got close, but it made it. It made it, guys. Holy crap. So, gentleman I come out here with, his name is Jeremy. He said he's only had one truck that has ever pulled that line off, and my VRD carbon was only the second truck he's ever seen do it. Now we've got a third one, the LT Customs cliffhanger, which, you know what, I'm gonna have to come up with a name for it myself just because it's sort of my own creation, if you will, with how everything is put together. So I'll think of something for this. You know what, there is a nice twisty line to take up that cliff face right there, but take a bow. You deserve it. Well done. You know what, for one last thing, we're gonna just try to go off the front of this. Nice and easy. It's gonna wanna slide. Boom. That's how you know you've done a good job not putting too much weight in the rear, because that momentum would have forced that tail end to go feet overhead, rear wheels over front, and you would have been flipped over, but we didn't. Oh, we'll drape a wheel off, I guess. There we go. And we are going to drive off into the sunset with our cliffhanger. Perhaps for the title of the video, I'll think of what to call this truck, and I'll put her name in the title of the video. So if you're wondering what that name means, now you know. All right. Drive off into the sunset. And right there, we ran out of battery. Perfect timing. Now that we've got the shell off once again, just kind of looking at everything here. So I want to take a closer look at that Dlux Fab transmission that they got here. The gears are exposed. So what I did do is I got some Cow RC dry lube spray and did spray it on the gears to help with them. And they do turn and look beautiful yet. So no issues there. I want to just see, look at that. We got no marks on the drive shaft because I did notice rotate this axle way back using the link extender to make sure our drive shaft cleared underneath the links to the rear axle. So really important there that if you set up something like this and you're going to have high clearance links, you got to have a high clearance drive shaft setup as well. And that's what a link extender can help you do. I think the tires overall worked pretty well. They're not quite as grippy, but it is cold. This is the G8 compound, not the Predator compound. So right now with this really cold weather, Predator compound would probably be better, just so you get the softness and the grip. I bet you if we had Predator compound on here, it would have pulled up some of those obstacles, no problem, because the tires were finding contact patches, it just was losing the grip. So might be something where I get an extra set of these beautiful purple Trio wheels with a set of tires with the Predator compound on them, ready to go, that I just have to swap out the wheels and tires quickly. But I'm certainly impressed by this setup, certainly impressed by this chassis, the whole rig. It's really good, and I know I'm going to be coming out and have a lot of fun with it. So peace.